Okay.
So, good luck.
Thank you. Hi guys. Alright. Introductions. My name is M-Chanty38. I am that guy who lost the race last night. But Retro Reviver is not here this time, which means that I automatically win this race. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, and I am Pretends to Know. I also play this game, and so we're gonna hopefully and have ourselves a nice little world record run.
Yeah. All right. So real quick, I'm gonna show this off here. On the title screen, if I hold on to my control stick here for like a few seconds, and then advance to the file select screen. Okay, if I can do it. Okay, it's gonna take me a few tries, but this is like a secret thing that Nintendo really never tells you about. And okay, there we go. What that does is one of the things that that this version of the game added is that if you press the jump button in midair, then you do a spin. Because I'm used to the original NSLU game, it is some strats that I do will have that mechanic throw me off, and so by having it disabled, I only need to use the R trigger in order to spin in midair. This is very useful. Okay, so because there's no character bid war, I went around the NSME community to ask which character I should use, and based on everybody's results, they all want me to play as Toadette. So thank you so much for allowing me to play as Toadette. We have a speedrun here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Alright, time does not start until I start moving on the map, which is about like a couple minutes from now. So are we ready to go?
I'm ready when you're ready.
Alright. So here we go. Okay, so this is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. It is the remake of the original New Super Mario Bros. U from the Nintendo Wii U. It came out on January 11, 2019. And as far as differences go, there are no major differences between the two versions. Some levels have different aesthetics, but they make no real difference in the level designs themselves. So in a speedrun, this is a very identical game. Unfortunately, much slower because they made the loading times in between every screen transition a lot slower than in the Wii U version. They also ported New Super Luigi U as well, which is the version of the game that I am playing on. And the category I'm running is all castles. So 2 years ago, in the last S2CDW event, I ran the original New Super Luigi U on the all castles category, and the time that I got was a 106.20. And since then, a lot of stuff has changed. We have found a lot new optimizations in most of the levels in the run. So this is going to be hopefully a much faster speedrun than the 106.20. No promises because due to the fact that this is a slower version. Yeah. So time's going to begin soon.
If it's slower than 106, we're blaming the load times.
Yeah. So the categories that I'm running is all castles, which is essentially warpless. It differs from any percent because we skip worlds 2, 3, 4, and 6. In this category, we're going to be doing all 8 worlds. So it's essentially a more expansive version of any percent. So time's going to begin right
now.
It's
going to begin. Yeah.
All right. So the main power-up of the game is the Super Acorn. And so what I'm going to be doing in the first level is get a Super Acorn, and I'm going to try and keep it throughout majority of the run. The Super Acorn allows me to turn into a squirrel suit, and with the squirrel, I can fly through a lot of these levels. So it's a very useful power-up to have.
One thing y'all may be asking is, what about Peachette? Peachette is unfortunately flies slower than Squirrel Toadette. So the only way that she will be showing up in this run is if something goes seriously wrong. These levels are all Luigi U. Everything. The timer will start at 200 seconds because Toadette adds an extra 100 seconds to the timer. Well, other than that, they will all be going here because Luigi U runs a lot. It is a much shorter game because it's more of an expansion pack. One thing to note there is M-Chan got the star in this level because it provides so off a few extra seconds as well as ignore all the enemies.
Yeah, it's it makes going through that level a lot easier. So now coming up is our first tower or fortress or whatever you want to call it. And normally in regular runs, this would be the first level to play as Nabbit. But in this run, I'm only going to be using Toadette, so I'm going to let Pretend talk about what Nabbit is.
Nabbit is for those who played the original game, he's essentially a cheat code. What you do is when you enter the level, you'd hold down L and you switch into the level as Nabbit instead of as Luigi. So there's two reasons that's not happening. The first reason is Toadette is awesome, and this is a Toadette only run. And the second reason is, which we did mention in the opening cutscene, is that characters now you have to pause the game and manually change to any other character, and that costs about 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's 3 seconds per character switching, so it's not as worth it to switch characters. Whereas in the original version, because you can actually change characters like on the fly right there. It doesn't really. I personally think having less menus is makes the speedrun really nice. So I picked up this acorn right here. Is in PB attempts I don't usually go for this, but since there is a lot of opportunities for me to get hit, having that extra acorn will be helpful. I like to compare that to if you're familiar with A Link to the Past, the Sanctuary Heart Container, where it only takes like a few seconds to get. That one loses about 8 seconds, but that also ensures that you're not losing a lot of time later on.
Also, one little quick, I don't know if it's a bug or a feature, but spinning platforms that M-Chan was just running over, when he did a spin attack off of them, because for some reason their momentum goes into the spin attack, so he was able to get extra speed from doing a spin attack there. And now the path forks, and he's going to take the level on the right, because one, this level is a little bit shorter and straightforward. This is after this level. On the other side, you have to dodge a overworld enemy. It's fairly simple, but it still eats a second or two.
Yeah, you lose time on map movement. So on that part right there where I waited on the piranha plants, you can actually, there is a strat where you can actually jump right through those piranha plants. It's like a couple pixels they have to do it, but that is considered IL only, and by IL only meaning you don't ever, it's way too risky to do it in actual PB attempts, and it only saves like 2 seconds, but like super difficult.
And now we are on our first of the 8 castles. We'll be going on to one. The theme is swinging platforms for almost all of them. And then our first boss is going to be which is fairly straightforward because he will do a cycle and then he will come out in his shell and he will come out in the same spot. As M-Chan gets an early strike in, he will pretty much spend the entire fight in stun locked.
Yeah, so a lot of the fights in this game are very straightforward. As you can see, for a lot of the bosses, all it takes is just knowing their attack patterns. So once you know their attack patterns, all you have to do is just stand at the spot that they're going to get up at, and then you pretty much win the fight. If you mess up anything in the fight, then in most cases, the fights can go really badly.
Yeah.
Alright, so that was World 1 done.
World 1 done. Next, we're going to the Layer Cake Desert. Note here is because we're not switching to Nabbit level, we're going to get a quick little cutscene because instead of helping us, he's off busy robbing toad houses. Yeah,
so that's a really interesting thing about this level on this version is because you can switch to Nabbit. It is slower to use Nabbit in 2-1, but at the end of 2-1 there is a cutscene afterwards where Toad's gonna say, "Hey, this some guy like took my stuff. Sorry, I got a date to run." And that's about a 30-second cutscene. But if you play as Nabbit, you actually skip that cutscene. Does not play at all. But because we're only using Nabbits, we are going to see that cutscene.
Only using Toadette.
Yeah.
And the level we're in is pretty straightforward. Either fly or parts that he's not flying, he's going to get a little extra speed by he will be sliding downhill and then jumping instead of running uphill.
Yeah. There's not really much to talk about now. So if there's like a donation or two, you can read one. If there are any.
You don't have anything. Well, actually, hold on. I think there was one that went unread, at least on stream. Earlier, we had a $10 donation from Phantom Matt, and he said, "Well, we can't have everyone feeling blue, now can we?" And he put that on the red tunic.
Oh, come on, guys! Help me out here, man. We can't let this guy overtake me. All right.
Contrary to what the donation site says, there's only $2 to take over the red tunic and not just $1.
Yeah. So please donate for blue tunic. All right, so now we have 2-3. Kind of tricky level, especially as Toadette. It's dark, so it's hard to see. So you do have to study the level in order to know the layout of the level. And you have to like do all these like precise ducks in order to not get hit by the piranha plants. So that was a pretty decent level. Otherwise, that level used to be very inconsistent before you found strats. Before we found strats, we used to do 2-2 in solo character categories because it was just that inconsistent. But thankfully, we found ways to get around it.
2-2 is a pain as well because there's.
All right, so this is one of my favorite levels in the run. So here, hopefully, this goes well.
This is a what this is a vertical level, and what you have to do is you have to spin those little wheels that he's getting Toadette.
That's not good.
Ooh. Oh, Well, you didn't have to spin the wheel again, so that's all. That's always a net positive.
All right. Unfortunately, I didn't get to show off the
that
new
one you
strat, but oh well. The new strat is really hard to do, and that's really unfortunate that I missed that. Yeah. Shout outs to Deluxe 2. Deluxe 2 found a lot of newer optimizations to this game that we never, for a long time, we never really thought about doing. This level was one of the things that was one of the newer optimizations that he found. The newer optimization saves like 3 seconds over the strat that we used to do.
Optimization is you spin the wheel less and just get to the door through a smaller gap.
Yeah, it's really tight, and if you're too slow, and you have to be really quick, and if you're too slow, you just die. Which is why I didn't try. Which is why I didn't try to go through those blocks. All right, so coming up now is easily the worst part of the run. We have a Goomba Bro and a Fire Bro, and we have to get past them in this part. And whether I get past them or not is completely random. So I gotta pray that I get past them, and it's not my control if I do get hit by them. There is an acorn that I'll try to get, but it's not guaranteed that I'll get it. And if I end up avoiding the acorn as well, I have to avoid it because it's not faster to get it.
Yeah.
So
very important cutscene. K-Mac just kidnapped Peach even more than she already was.
Okay, so we got the acorn.
The acorn. And it looks...
Okay, we're through. All right, cool. We gotta run. All right. So that's a very big reset point in the run. So getting past that means you're on world record pace if you're going for PB attempts. All right, so now we're gonna do 2-4, and I am going to get the secret exit here in this level. It's gonna sound a little weird because it's warpless. Why do I need to do this? It takes me to a secret level, which then takes me to level 5. It will make sense later. I will talk about it later. But just know that I am getting the secret exit here.
And then after he gets the secret exit, he will come back in and get the normal exit as well. Oh.
Yeah. So now 2-4 as a regular exit has a very specific cycle that I have to make. I cannot be too fast or too slow. So it's very specific that I make this cycle, and that's a setup for a very dumb jump that I'm going to try and go for.
And big thing is also he's going to also have to be dodging.
Alright, there we go, we got it.
Yeah.
So that jump that I just made right there is harder than it looks. And that's actually a very common theme with a lot of things and with a lot of stuff in this game. To a lot of people come into my chat and think that wow, a lot of the stuff that you're doing is really easy. It's a lot of stuff is actually harder than they look, and that's because New Super Luigi U has really difficult movement to get used to. In New Super Luigi U, the physics, as far as physics go, Luigi slips more and he jumps higher, so it makes quick turning a lot harder. And his jumps are a lot floatier, so getting used to this game as a whole is extremely difficult. But once you get the movement down, then there's not very many hard tricks in the run.
Also coming back into play again really quick is the little off the wheels like he did in 1-3 is coming in again. He's using the speed from them to get extra momentum.
Yeah, so spin jumping is very powerful in this game. So one of them is, as you can see, I'm spin jumping off these rolling hills terrains in order to preserve momentum. Anytime you're spin jumping off anything that's moving, you get a lot of momentum from them. And also doing spin jumping is not just for fun. I do a lot of spin jumping, and that's because spin jumping is the height of a triple jump. And so for a lot of jumps in this game, that extra height makes a very big difference.
And one thing to note about that is only true while he's wearing an acorn or Super Crown, but since Super Crown flies slower, we're still sticking with the acorns.
Yeah, Toadette so Toadette's a new character in this game. Toadette slips less in this game, so she's essentially like the easy mode, and it makes quick turning a lot easier with her. And she also has a new power-up called the Super Crown, which allows her to turn into Peachette, which follows the same properties as the Acorn suit, but it's she's really
it's just not
really
as
slow.
good.
All right, so Morton Koopa, I am going to fly over this giant Pokey. Okay, nice. That hit that I just made right there, he has a chance to hit you anyway because his hammer has a massive hitbox. So it's really easy to get hit by his hammer if you are going for that really risky hit. It is faster to damage boost through the giant Pokey to hit him, and it saves like 2 seconds. But then that also means you have to re-equip Acorn after the level, and re-equipping the Acorn is not faster than doing the damage boost.
In the Mario U side, it's faster because the next level that would happen is a Acorn level.
Yes.
But that's not the case in Luigi U, so we have to do something different.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that is World 2 done, and so now we have a choice between Worlds 3 and 4. You can do either one of them, and they both take you to World 5. But in this, in all castles, we're going to be doing both of them. So you're going to be seeing both worlds. I'm going to go to World 4 first. As Toadette, it does not matter, but for every other character, you can save 8 seconds by going to World 4 first.
And the swimming. That will be, spoiler alert, the swimming that will involve in World 3. And this level, the big thing is M-Chan needs to jump, not get hit with the barrel, which it'd look a lot easier than this. Those boozers, I believe what's called.
Bruisers, yes.
They wait until the last second to punch those barrels, and that makes it really tight to get squeezed by them.
All right, so in the normal run, you actually do the entirety of Worlds 3 and 4 as Nabbit, and that's just to make a lot of the levels in both those worlds really easy. World 4 is really hard when you're not using Nabbit. In this level you do use Nabbit, not because it's easier, and that's because as you can see right here, I delayed right there. Otherwise I would have got a 77 at the end of the clock. When you end a level with a double-digit number, you get fireworks, which loses 15 seconds. And when you're using Nabbit, Nabbit cannot get fireworks, so that's another reason you would use Nabbit.
The reason it's 15 seconds is because you also get an item which, for the most part, if you're on PB pace, you generally don't need to take those extra cautions. Took a slight little shortcut that the developers put in the game, and now he's trying. And he did a little trick there. To get on the platform is Toadette was actually slightly under it, but by doing a ground pound, it registered as above it. Those who play or watch a lot of Super Mario Maker should be familiar with that move as well.
Yeah, you gain a lot. Yeah, you gain just a little bit of height, like a few pixels of height, when you ground pound in air.
And now we are beating up another Boom Boom.
Yeah, so Kamek powers up Boom Boom to make Boom Boom do something different to make him harder. But either way, Boom Boom's not anywhere close to being a challenge.
Generally, before like all of them, except for maybe one, before they show anything off, you can put them in a stun lock.
Mm-hmm.
Important cut, and then important cutscene. Okay.
So one of the things that makes Toadette easier here in this world is that Toadette actually has no ice physics, so it makes navigating with on the ice a lot easier. But I'm still going to jump immediately right here, and that's so I can accelerate faster. Okay, so that hit right there is okay because I can get an acorn in the next level without losing any time whatsoever.
And also, like, generally the fastest form of movement is running. The flight just helps smooth out the gaps, so this level doesn't make a large difference in the finish time either.
Alright, so now we're gonna go to 4-3 or 4-4 on the top. 4-5 is a lot slower. I'm picking up this acorn right here. You can skip getting this acorn, but because you have to pass by this ring multiple times, it doesn't make it any faster to avoid it. Because it involves avoiding it every single time you pass by that ring. Alright, so there's that acorn right there, and that is and that is my last opportunity where I'm going to get an acorn without in a single. Actually, well, there's actually one more, but that's like way later. Again, yeah. I delayed at the end there because otherwise I would have got a 77. So losing one in-game time is better than losing 15 real seconds.
Yeah, and one thing to note is one of the reasons that doesn't have any more chances for acorns is because within the levels, all the acorns except for like a handful of them, and most of them are ones that aren't in blocks, placed with super crowns. And and this run probably won't come to that. And going for the risky duck jumps.
Yeah, those are just as scary as they look. And then this last part right here, you can't get through this without getting hit, so I just wait. I've tried to find strats to get through that without slowing down. I had no success.
Also, one thing of a bit of a side note is this is probably the most straightforward ghost house that Nintendo's ever put in a Mario game.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to add anything complex with the ghost houses when you have a 100-second time limit. So I guess that's the reason why they made them very linear.
Yep.
All right, so right there I delayed a little bit there. Otherwise, if I just kept going if I just went right away, I would have got hit by the Cooligans, which wastes a lot of time. And fighting those Cooligans suck because their hitbox are terrible.
They have terrible, and it gets even worse if you would RNG into one that water. Anyway, so now we're in Castle, which is windy, which be the only time we actually see thwomps. So fact is for anybody who plays Super Mario Maker and then plays this game, jump on these thwomps. Will not get the result you think.
No, it's a bad idea. Alright, so Wendy can sometimes be a jerk. There's like, on the spots that she gets up at, she can be either like a tile off or whatever, and you kind of have to react to it. But otherwise, this fight's pretty straightforward. Just don't jump too high where you're gonna hit the spikes on the top. Sounds easy, but other than that, not much to say. So if you have donations to read, then go ahead. Rezzy, my dude. Alright, so, now that we're done with World 4, we can actually go to World 5, but since this is all castles, we gotta go back to, World 3, because we haven't done that yet.
There's a second reason why we're also not going to World 5 right now, but in chat, we're still not ready to get to that point yet, so...
Yeah, and again, I'll talk about that later. Alright, so, this is the point where, doing World 4 first saves, like, 8 seconds, because, with every other character, except for Toadette, you can go up there to get, Baby Yoshi, and Baby Yoshi will allow you to, swim really fast in water levels, and World 3 is a water-themed world, and so there's a couple levels where we're going to be going through, water. As Toadette, there's another mechanic that they added with Toadette, which is really awesome, and it completely obsoletes Toadette in this run. And that is, Toadette actually swims at the rate of a penguin suit from New Super Mario Bros. Wii. So that's really fast, and it just obsoletes the Baby Yoshi, which is awesome because controlling with Baby Yoshi can sometimes be finicky.
Yeah, and that has two important differences. One, she has the speed of the penguin suit, and two, you have more directional control over her as she swims, which an action right now.
Yeah, so this is the only reason why Toadette saves like 10 seconds over every other character in the All Castles route.
Trivia fact is yellow Cheep Cheeps swim away from you when you try to approach them, which is...
Which is what? You kind of cut out there.
Nice. That, Cheeps swim away from you.
Yeah. So in that level, you want to minimize the amount of diagonal movement because you do move slower when you're swimming diagonally. So there was a little bit of time loss that I lost there, which was not really that noticeable, but it does add up. This category is very optimized. So this tower right here, in a normal run, Nabbit saves a lot of time here. And that is because, as you can see, I have to wait for these skewers. Otherwise, yeah, there's no other way for me to speed this level up other than waiting.
Even, like,
that was not good. Alright, that's fine. I have to re-equip Acorn next level now.
Yeah, but even if damage boosting could be optimal in this level, there's just so many damage boosts necessary to even make it worthwhile that any character besides Nabbit would probably just die. Things before time ran out.
So that Firebro unfortunately was a jerk. What he did there was kind of not in my control. Any bro in this game just have like semi-unpredictable patterns, so that kind of sucked.
And
right. So I'm gonna re-equip Acorn here, and then now we have the Ghost Ship. The Ghost Ship's very straightforward until the very end. The very end is extremely scary, and there might be a chance where I might lose an Acorn again at the very end of the level.
Utilizing the spin jump there to get enough height to fly over all those boos. Generally, you don't want to go into the water. Have to, because in there are purple Cheep Cheeps, and they are set.
So unfortunately I got hit again, so I have to re-equip another acorns. This is not looking good as far as resource management goes.
Yeah,
But yeah, that last part is very scary, and what happened there shows exactly why. You have to squeeze in between those boo rings. Alright, so now we're gonna do 3-3, which is harder than 3-4. 3-4 is slower by like 4 seconds. So we just choose to do the faster level. So in the normal run, where you are playing as Nabbit in this level, you can go for something called YOLO Cycle, but that is considered IL only because it is that difficult to do. You can do YOLO Cycle here in with any other character, but that does nothing because one, you go ahead of the cycle to where you're going to get hit by the piranha plants at the end, and two, you have to wait for a 76 instead of a 77 anyway. Alright, so now we're doing this. So now we're going to do 3-5. So 3-5, Baby Yoshi does not save any time because this is a vertical swimming level, and Baby Yoshi does not speed up your vertical movement. So mashing really matters here in this level.
And fortunately with Toadette, that's the giant dragon eel that's following him. Catch you real fast, which is why you want to get out of there as quick as you can.
So you can actually get an 81 at the end of this level, but you have to mash really hard in order to get it. And of all the times that I've ran this category, I've only ever gotten it like 5 times.
And now we are on to our 4th castle.
Yeah, so Toadette also saves time in this level because Baby Yoshi does not carry. You cannot carry Baby Yoshi through castles at all. There is a water section here in this level, which means that Toadette saves like a couple seconds.
So, quick side note on that mini mushroom, he just hit that cut, which, let me be perfectly clear, is not worth it.
Yeah. So I took that last part safe. You can go YOLO and go through that, but the torpedoes have like a lingering hitbox after they explode. So it's I just took it safe there.
Yeah. And Larry, like all the others so far, has a cycle where N-Chan will be going to specific spots to hit him. Thing that is of real concern is there are water spouts in this fight. Sometimes they can push Larry into a jump while he's in the shell, and you don't want to get, and they can just hit you. But
yeah, if you get hit in this fight actually becomes random. So this would be the first instance of random, or well, the second major instance of randomness if the fight goes wrong. But
it didn't. So
yeah. So now's the opportunity to talk about the. Now's the opportunity to talk about the
Dash Secret.
To World 5. So So both worlds take you to World 5. However, before World 5, there is an airship. The airship has a very long cutscene before the level, and followed by that, the airship has a really long auto-scroller. Followed by the really long auto-scroller is a really painful boss fight, and then after the really painful boss fight is a very long cutscene afterwards. So, this is the reason why I do 2 Dash Secrets. We gotta find some way to avoid the airship, and this is just the fastest way to avoid doing the airship. That airship is a 3-minute level, and and even with all this backtracking, this level itself will save a minute over doing the airship.
And then after this, the secret levels open up a pathway to a new world. 1 and 2 open up to World 5. 3 and 4 have secret levels that open up to 6. One that opens up to 7, but this is the only one we're going to use because we're not skipping any castles.
Yeah. In the new Super Mario Bros. U route, you actually do 1- secrets, just because it's just faster in that version. So yeah, as you can see, you saw how long it took me to backtrack all the way here. This still saves time, a lot of time. So now we are going to World 5, and this is where the category starts to get pretty interesting. You know, a lot of the, all 4 worlds that we've done were pretty straightforward, but now this gets pretty interesting. So in any percents, we go straight to World 5. We go from World 1 to straight to World 5, and in World 5, we do 5-1, 5-3, or 5-2, depending on your preference. And then we do 5 Tower, which has a very difficult skip. Then we do 5 Ghost House, and then 5 Secret, and then the World 7. The World 5 route in this category is a lot different, as it's actually the shortest world in the run. We only do 4 levels in this route.
And one thing to note is as the camera panned over from the Boom Boom to the Iggy's Castle, it went over to a subworld. Which we will get to in a second. Right now, though, it is hugging as close to those piranhas as he can get and being low on the vines, so that way he can get under them without getting hit. And he cut it real close with that 178, which... Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, so normally in any percent you do 5-3 because it's just a little bit faster than 5-2, but we have to do 5-2 because what we're going to do is we're going to get the secret exit here in 5-2. And this skips a lot of World 5. Otherwise, you'd have to do the tower level, which has a difficult skip, and then the Ghost House, and then 2 of the hardest levels in the game, arguably, and then RNG.
In Luigi U, I think 5-5 secret is pretty easy. That doesn't matter here. It's still much faster to just... I can skip right to the other side of the soda jungle.
So we just skipped a lot of levels. So we just did the second level of the 4 levels. We're gonna do the third one. We're gonna do 5-6 instead of 5-7. In Mario you do 5-7. In 5-6 there is a very difficult strat that I'm gonna go for. This saves about a second if I get this. So hopefully we'll see what happens from here.
This is in this level, there are a lot of sumo bros, and while they're not RNG, if he doesn't get them fast enough or pass them fast enough after their first stomps, they start becoming much more random.
Okay, nice, we got it. So that saves a second over the other strat, over the more consistent strat, which is not doing that underpipe strat that I just did, and that's by just flying over. And it's a lot safer, and the cycle at the end is much easier to make. This category is very optimized, so we go for everything that we can.
And we're now in Iggy's Castle, and out of all of the Koopalings, the worst. He's still manageable.
Idiot Koopa.
He's still manageable, but after we're swinging through the chains, it's going to become pretty clear why he's. And it comes it comes down to is he knows how to run.
Yeah, so let's see how this fight goes. So, at the beginning of the fight, he's going to send out this this giant Magmar monster. You can cancel it by, but it's random whether you get it or not. Okay, we didn't get it, so now I just gotta wait for it.
Yeah, there is a much more dangerous strategy.
Okay, that was close.
Yeah, he. But yeah, this fight is much easier in Luigi in the Wii U version of this game because you play as Nabbit and into those red magic balls and only stays on the ceiling as long as he has a magic attack out. Time off. You could damage boost the attack as Toadette.
Yeah, but then that means you have to re-equip Acorn though, so it's not faster to do it.
You have to re-equip Acorn, and this run, Acorns are already running thin, and two that's that is just a risk too far, because you need Acorns more than you need healing.
Alright, so now we're in World 6. World 6 is probably the hardest world in the run. In the normal run, this would actually be the last time you use Nabbit, so you actually do everything as Luigi. But more importantly, a lot of the levels in World 6 are cycle-based, and a lot of minor mistakes could add up to a handful of seconds loss. So this is a very punishing world in PB attempts. In PB attempts, you'd normally be pretty pressured coming into World 6, so it's very difficult to do optimally. Out of all the worlds in this run, this is by far my most practiced world out of everything in all castles.
I believe when you said earlier unforgiving, that is the one that is the word that sums up this world the best.
So this next level is straightforward. So if you have any donations, go ahead and read some throughout the level.
Doesn't sound like we've gotten any new donations at the moment.
That was weird.
That was slightly risky, but
I didn't jump high enough.
Yeah.
All right, I'm waiting here. I could have went, but I didn't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, it's always better to, if you don't feel comfortable with it, always risk a 2-second time loss rather than get surprised with 15 seconds. Because I've had runs where it's like, I'm gonna touch the flag.
All right.
And then it happens.
All right, so you want to talk about hidden block clip?
Okay, hidden block clip is annoying. But
okay, I cannot go for it now.
Oh no. But fortunately he can't go. But what you have to do is, for a super crown, can hit those two Kaizo blocks at the very start of the level. If you have an acorn, first one, and at the right angle initiate a double jump, because Toadette is considered above the bottom of the Kaizo block, she will go through it and clip through the Kaizo block.
Yeah, it's a very precise trick to go for. Unfortunately, I got like some really weird momentum, and unfortunately, I got really screwed. So I couldn't go for it there. Unfortunately, I have to re-equip my last acorn, so now I have to really play well in order to not lose any more time.
Okay. This next up, the path forks again. There are 2 levels to pick from. He's going to take number 3 because it is an auto scroller. And as you can see, this level is just pretty much built to take the abuse of an acorn. So just a quick slip out before anything can happen, and just one. This next one's a little unique. We're going to be taking another secret exit. What this is going to do is it's going to allow us to skip level down the line, and also the castle in this world has 2 entrances. It will allow him to take the shorter entrance, or not the shorter, the side of the castle.
Yeah, there's another route where you actually get the secret exit of the fortress, which skips the Boom Boom fight. But you also have to do the roller coaster level, and that's like a minute long, and yeah. Plus, you have to do a kind of painful level at the end of the sumo tower. But with this secret exit, I can go straight to the castle after the sumo tower.
This is another vertical level. Important thing here is avoiding the stomps from Sumo Bros. Oh wow, yeah, I saw that.
Alright, so as Toadette, this fight is a huge pain because Toadette's hitbox is actually a little bit different than the other characters. So this fight is harder for like pretty much no reason, but it is. But hopefully we can do this. Basically, what I'm gonna try and do here is okay. So with the acorn suit, I can actually like barely clip through his hitbox. His hitbox is really terrible. So wow.
And then.
Oh my goodness. This is not going well. Alright, hopefully we can get a good one here. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, one.
Yeah, this can happen, and oh my gosh. Oh wow, this is really interesting. Oh man, the improv strats are real.
Yeah, when we said earlier, if a boss breaks out of the cycle, things get out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, that was a perfect example there. So I just lost 20 seconds on that fight alone, and that's very unfortunate. And again, that's not because I did something wrong there. Toadette's hitboxes makes that fight inconsistent. Every other character makes that fight like a free fight.
Yeah, there is a safer strat with it, but also means slower, which is only thing of note of this is, one, we're already at the boss, which is why we go for this side of the castle. A flying item is real important there, because that line of portaboos he just flew over, or lava bowls, I always forget what they're called, they can get out of hand if you don't get off fast. I have nothing to add about Roy because I always stun lock him so fast, I'm not even entirely sure what his attack patterns are. Oh.
Yeah, he's gotta count the 5. In the 100% route, you actually fight Royd twice, just because you have to visit this castle twice, just due to the way the star coins are laid out in this level. So, you know, if you've run 100%, you should be really good at fighting Roy Koopa.
And that is it for World 6.
Yep. So, this is the point where this castle, where all castles meets up with the 80% route. So, Worlds 7 and 8 are exactly the same as an 80%. Coming up is 7-1, and this will probably be the only instance where I call serious time, because this is I hate this level a lot in any category.
I do too.
Yeah. We'll see what happens from here.
The quickest explanation is it has ice bros in it.
There's a very difficult jump near the end of the level, and hopefully I'm gonna get it. So here we go. Alright, we got it. Alright, so that jump that I just made right there, if you are doing that at full speed, that is a 2-frame window. Otherwise if you're too late, you are going to slip off and die. When you're running on ice, it's really easy for your inputs to get dropped. Fortunately, as Toadette, that is easier to do because Toadette has no ice physics, but it is still a hard jump to make.
Also, as a quick note about dropped inputs, is that's also another reason Im-Chan disabled the twirl and showed off disabling the twirl in midair at the start of the run. Sometimes when you're on a ledge and want to make a jump, the game will mistake that for already being in the air, and you'll do a twirl to your death instead.
Yeah. So, no thank you. So 7-2 was very straightforward. Not really much to talk about there. But now we have 7 Fortress. 7 Fortress is pretty difficult. Yeah, so we'll see what we get. What happens here.
The quickest sum up for what makes this level so difficult is one RNG. Because Fire Bros sometimes just do. The boss is also RNG.
Yeah, in that first room right there, there's actually a faster strat that I could have done right there to save a second, but it's also risky. And because I have no acorns, I chose not to go for it, because you can get hit very easily sometimes. Alright, so then this part's just an auto-scroll level. I'm gonna try and go for this, like, really cool strat. This strat's called the 59, because you get a 59 door, but because I did the safer strat, I'm not gonna get the 59. Alright, so, Kamek. Great boss, fantastic boss, 0 RNG, purely scripted. Nobody's ever lost a run to this guy.
Sure. I'll back that up.
Wow, I am impressed.
Okay.
All right.
Only thing,
well,
yeah, that was real good RNG. The only thing to note is for the third hit, Kamek always goes to the center spot where Im-Chan hit. Other than that, he just was real fortunate.
Yeah, that fight is a guessing game, and in PB attempts, you are bound to lose a run to that guy. The blocks he spawns is random, and then where he chooses to spawn is also random. So you have to pretty much guess. There is no manipulation for Kamek, unfortunately. Right there, I delayed because, and that's gonna set me up for an 87 at the end of the flagpole right here. Otherwise, you just get if I just kept going straight, I get an 88, which gives me a star, which is nice. But yeah, no thanks.
Unfortunately, the time saved from using the star would not make up for the time spent collecting it.
Yeah. So getting that secret exit in the ghost house saves a lot of time in World 7 because otherwise there will be a big RNG section where you have to go through one of those levels, and then followed by that is a really long autoscroller. So yeah.
At least in 100%, we mitigate the autoscroller.
All right, so Ludwig's Castle, it's on a cycle here. The first part you can do whatever you want. You can go slow and whatnot because you have to wait for the blocks to get past you. For this second part right here, I am going to go slow, and that's so I can make the fire bar cycle easier for me to make this really difficult jump. And there we go, we got it. That is harder than it looks. Alright, so now we got the Ludwig fight coming up. Ludwig has an attack phase where he is going to turn into 3 clones, and you have to guess which one's the right clone. The right clone always shoots the most fireballs, so it's not hard to figure out. But with the Acorn, I can skip that attack phase.
And how it will become real obvious real quick. And now it's just a matter of knowing what his pattern is, which M-Chan does, so he's just going to... Bug would punch his feet with his face.
And there we go, so, pretty straightforward fight. Alright, so, coming up now is 7-Airship. So we skipped 5-Airship earlier, now we're gonna do 7-Airship. 7-Airship in Mario U is a 6-minute level, and it's really fun. Everybody loves 7-Airship. In this game, there is an auto-scroll skip for the first section, and hopefully I can get it. It's pretty difficult to get.
The reason he can skip the first section of the auto-scroller is because it's not an actual auto-scroller, as you'll see when he enters the level.
No, we're not on record pace. Actually, I should have said yes.
As you can see, is that...
Alright, we're in.
The reason that... Yeah, we're in, but... part is an actual auto-scroller, but the first part, since the quote-unquote auto-scroller part's tied to the cloud, and otherwise the camera moves normally, Toadette or Peachette you can just fly over. In this part, just don't get shot.
Alright, so coming up as Bowser Jr., we're gonna make quick work of Bowser Jr. here.
One thing to note is sometimes his hitbox does weird things, which hopefully we will not show off.
Yeah, there we go. So that fight if that fight looked easy, he has a terrible hitbox. Sometimes you can either go through him or you just get knocked out of his hitbox, which sucks. And then if that happens in the fight, then you have to improv the fight, and the improv is absolutely real. He is completely RNG if that happens.
Yeah.
So one minor optimization I just did at the end of that fight is I actually flew to the left block, and that is so I can the screen transitions earlier as the left block falls down first. And that actually saves a full second. And for like the 5 years that we've ran this game, original NSMBU and NSLU, we never knew that. So shout out to the Latchers for finding that out.
Now that Bowser Jr.'s crashed his own airship, time for the final world.
Alright, so now we're heading out to World 8. And World 8 is going to be really fast.
One thing, I guess a fun trivia note is, in the original Mario game, paths actually different because, well, we'll get to that in a second. The big thing to note right now is instead of going for the normal exit, there's a secret exit in this level, which M-Chan is going to take.
So in this level, there are raining fireballs. There are 3 random patterns that I can get here at the end of the level. We'll see what I get here. Okay, I'm gonna wait. All right, there we go. There is a strat to actually get through that right away, but I wasn't ready for it. And so if you're not ready for it, it's just usually better to take it safe there. And getting good or bad RNG makes a difference of 2 seconds. So in record pace, where you're hoping for good RNG, that can make a big difference.
As I mentioned earlier about the different paths between Mario and Luigi U, in Mario U, you actually take the normal exit. Horn, you can fly over the second level and third level, and makes the secret level slower because it's an auto-scroller. However, though, in this game, this is not an auto-scroller, so contest, this level taken.
Okay, nice. There's a much harder strat in this level called where you get an 87 at the end of the level. I'm gonna get an 86. The strats for 87 are extremely inconsistent and not marathon safe, so I chose not to go for that. So yeah, as for 10 said, you go for you do the normal exit of 8-1 because there is something called 8-2 skip in Mario U, and it saves more time than doing 8-4 in that game. So now coming up is elevator skip, which if you run Mario in New Super Mario Bros. U, it's a very difficult skip, and in this game, it's a lot easier to do. So
it's spin, jump, fly to the right.
Yeah. You have to do some very complicated acorn movement with elevator skip in Mario U. So that was the first screen. It was pretty simple. The second screen, I can either go YOLO or I can go really safe. I'm gonna choose to go YOLO here. And we got it, and that actually saved a second over doing the safer way. So that jump, yeah, that jump that I just made right there is very specific. You have to jump high enough so you can get over the electric sparks, and you have to jump low enough so you don't get hit by the bomb at the top. And there's a few pixels that work for that jump, so it's a little bit lenient, but you can also mess up very easily. All right, so now we're up to the final level, and in this level, there are still some really silly things that can go wrong if you're on like record pace here. The first screen's pretty straightforward. Bowser Jr. will like drill down on you, and it actually depends on your movement. So by doing very specific movement, you can actually manipulate what he does. I'm gonna go for this like really. Okay, we got part of the time save. If you can do it really well, that actually saves a full second. But oh well.
Yeah. If you land on Bowser Jr.'s right side, he gives you a speed boost.
Yeah. All right. So now we have what we got to go is this like really long corridor, and we have to dodge some fireballs. In previous NSMB games, the fireballs were completely random, but they have a set pattern in this one. Okay, this is the hardest fight in the game, so I'm really nervous here. Woo! Okay, we got it. All right, we gotta run.
And if that seems familiar, yes, you're not mistaken. This fight may or may not have been in like in almost all the games so far.
So in this game, because you jump really high, you actually don't need an acorn to actually get over him. You can just do a regular jump and you just get over him. So it's a very free fight.
And
all right. Spoilers. That was not the end of it. Yeah. So coming up is Fireball Skip. In this very last phase of Bowser, there is, at the beginning of the fight, if I fly up on Bowser's face, then Bowser will skip shooting a second fireball that he would normally shoot out, and that saves 2 seconds. And I'll let you explain the fight itself, just because I'm gonna need to pull it off.
It's pretty straightforward. He needs to steal the clown car back from Bowser Jr. before he takes it off screen. What he has to do now is he has to fly, and he's flying in such a way goes back and forth, and by going and by sticking in the hugging the middle.
So time's kind of on the final hit, which is like really soon.
Yeah. Manipulating Bowser into coming out of his shell sooner by dodging the fireball, by dodging the shell, and he skips a whole bunch of intermediate stuff.
Yeah, this fight would otherwise be really long without stealing Bowser Jr.'s clown car right there. All right. Unfortunately, yeah, the fight went by really fast, so it's it's hard to explain everything in the fight.
But if the fight's done right, the fight's shorter than the explanation.
Yeah. So the time that I just got is a 1:07:06, which is exactly a minute off of world record. So unfortunately, we got really good RNG throughout the run, but unfortunately, like a whole minute of execution loss. Otherwise, I managed to get most of the hard levels first try, which is what I'm happy about. So I hope you guys enjoyed the run. I want to go ahead and give some quick shoutouts here before we switch on to the next game. If you're interested in learning this game or any of the other NSMB games, we do have a Discord for all of the NSMB games. So if you're interested in learning any of the NSMB games, we have a pretty helpful community. Shoutouts to Ewaller, legendary Ewaller. His 100% world record time was what inspired me into running the original New Super Luigi U. And then shoutouts to Stash and Supernova. They both have disappeared, unfortunately. But those two guys, they were my main competitors for the original NSLU game, and they helped me improve a lot to get into the level of play that I'm at now. And then also thanks to Pretend to Know for hanging out and commentating with me.
My pleasure. Also, shout out again to Blue X2, who helped find a bunch of new strats for this game after Deluxe came out.
Oh yeah. Shout outs to Blue X2. He is currently my main competitor for this game since day one. And we both have been back and forth on the record, at least on New Super Mario Bros. U. So, I'm coming for you, man.
All right then.
All right. You got any last things you want to say?
I don't have anything else to add. Unfortunately, I have no familiarity with the next game, so I would not be a decent commentator, and so this is where I am going to sign off. Thank you, everyone, for watching this, and please remember to donate. And have a good day or night.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks, M-Chan, for that new Super Luigi U Deluxe run. Up next, we have you again with Link's Awakening DX. So stay tuned for that.
I'm gonna set up right now.